What about everyone feeling tired these days?
Okay.
And I think it's just been normalized, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm so tired, I'm exhausted. Most people are like waking up exhausted, sleeping exhausted. I rarely hear people saying that they are at their peak performance or they are like jumping with energy to get things done on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Why is that happening?
I think that is such an interesting, societal topic almost. It comes down to so many factors which might not even be fully medical, right? From the medical end of that, there are so many things you can be deficient in that cause fatigue and tiredness and loss of energy. Things like vitamin D, which a lot of Indians are deficient in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or low iron, which again is so common. And so these are easy things to replace, and then they make a huge difference. However, beyond the medical side of it, a lot of it is just that, we're trying to do everything at once, especially this decade that a lot of maybe your audience is in. So 20s, 30s, you are trying to build a career, you're trying to also socialize, see family, be healthy. A lot of people are focusing on just that being healthy part itself is starting to take so much energy. There are influencers doing 20, 30 step like morning routines, taking a stack of 30 supplements, making health and wellness into a job in itself,
Hmm.
which it shouldn't be.
What about people catching colds and virals so frequently? Like I'm sure you must be hearing your friends say every second month that, oh, I'm down with a viral. I'm having some kind of fever, some kind of cough.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that becoming so common?
I would pass on that because I don't think there's any increase in that compared to many other years. Like
Hmm.
that's not actually changed.
But
Infections.
if okay, let's say it's the
Yeah.
same for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Catching a viral or a cold every second month or every
Yeah.
2 3 months, is that a concern from a longevity perspective?
I think it comes down to looking at your immune system. If you're catching infections that frequently, then have a blood test done. Are you low in anything, right? Is there something off about your immune system? That's one thing to look into. Also, just nutrition, right? A lot of the vitamins and minerals that help to protect your immune system, they come from food as well. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're not eating well, you're drinking too much, alcohol lowers your immunity, you
Hmm.
know?
Okay, what about visceral fat?
Visceral fat is basically the fat that collects around your organs, right? So
Okay.
it's not necessarily visible sometimes, but
But this is what I heard, right? That
yeah,
the way the body works is that it first stores fat around your organs, but after a point it realizes there's not enough space to store fat, so it starts storing fat in your belly. Or I think it starts with storing fat on your belly, and then if it's too much fat coming in, then it's somewhere deposited near the organs. So does that mean that anyone who has belly fat
yeah.
is at a high risk of organ failure or, from a longevity perspective?
I'd say overall, it's very complex, right? Like how your body stores glucose and fat and everything. It's very complex, and it does so in both, adipose tissue, which is fat, as well as muscle, as well as the liver. So it's a complex mechanism. But to simplify it, I would say from the longevity perspective, visceral fat is obviously not something you want, right? A lot of Indians have high levels of fatty liver and just high
Mm-hmm.
levels of visceral fat because all these Indian dads with those big bellies, that's a high level of visceral fat in a very obvious way,
Hmm.
right? They have those fat deposits around organs that are difficult to clear.
So big bellies equals to visceral
Higher
fat.
waist circumference, exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
Often, yeah.
often, yeah.
Yes, and sometimes you can be skinny fat and you may not have that visibly, but though you still have those collections around your
And
organs.
how can they harm you? How does visceral fat harm you in the long run?
So it is, I would pass on that one, honestly. It's
Okay.
like a complex answer which I don't know how to do in a good way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave that.
Okay. Okay.